Tales from the Tambourine, Rocky Jordan Fanfiction by James McConnell. Number 1, Spilt Tea. You could feel it in the morning air. Everyone was on edge. While the companies that were insured were merely set back by the troubles, for the rest of us times were very bad. The fires that had swept Cairo had made paupers of a great many families. Some of the buildings around us were still smoldering. By a miracle, the Café Tambourine escaped the flames, though not the looters. The broken skin over my knuckles, the nasty cut on my forehead, and a sore rib testify to how my Saturday night went. Hell of a way to start a new year. Still, I'm thankful that it wasn't worse. None of my staff were seriously hurt, and we can open for business. Which, since most of our competitors have either been looted clean or been reduced to ashes, we are going to do in Kabir amounts. I had just finished the last of a series of phone calls and meetings with runners to establish supplies for the day. It was only 10 in the morning, an ungodly hour to be forced to be awake. The tambourine was already crowded. The clientele were mostly foreigners. I could overhear their fears at the violence returning. "Savages! These people are naught but savages," a portly Frenchman complained. His English friend agreed, adding, "None of this would have happened if the rabble had simply obeyed the laws of civilization. In what country do the police defend anarchists?" Yeah, it was a typically continental attitude. How dared the Egyptians protest what they felt was British imperialism? I'd never been to Ismailia, but it seemed a piss-poor place to pick a fight. Don't get me wrong, the French and the Limey weren't entirely wrong. A few days ago, the British tracked a group of Fedayeen to the police offices in Ismailia. They had, politely, demanded the officers turn over the criminals. The officers had decided to object. With bullets. But I, having lived here now for a few years, understood the Egyptians' ire. They were supposed to be an independent country, but the British weren't acting like it. Cairo had caught fire the next day. Rioters had reduced downtown to cinders. A lot of good people had gotten hurt. A lot of people who, like me, didn't care about politics. My place had escaped the fires because we are located in a different district. The tambourine sits almost in the shadow of the mosque madrasa of Sultan Hassan. Sadly, we did not escape the rioters. In their reaction to redressing the crimes of the infidels, the locals had decided that anyone Caucasian was British enough. 2 of the men I decked last night are currently sitting at an outside table. They are nursing their jaws and have the tact to look ashamed. One of them was muttering in Arabic something about me being truly graced by God and expressing the virtues of forgiveness. Those yucks better tip their waiter. I opened my copy of Al-Hamram and scanned the headlines. There is nothing good. There are a lot of rumors about the fate of the rioters. The police are overwhelmed and the diplomats are all looking ineffective. There's even an op-ed that is critical of King Farouk. Violent riots, corrupt police, incapable officials, and now gossipy inkslingers criticizing the government? Almost feels like I'm back in St. Louis. I had just finished the 3rd article when Sam walked through the front door. I still can't pronounce Sam's actual name correctly, but he doesn't mind going by the English version. Captain Sabayaya quickly looked over the place and then shouldered his way through the crowd to where I was sitting. He didn't wait for an invitation from me. He simply sat down in front of me. I hid for a moment behind my morning ritual of imbibing strong coffee, and once I'd set the cup down, I began what I was sure to be another of our interesting conversations. "I'm surprised you have the time to chat, Sam." "In truth, Jordan, I have not slept in 2 days." I motioned for a waiter to bring us more coffee. The strong aroma is welcome, and once Sam has a bit of Joe in him, he starts to get sleepy. First time I've ever seen coffee do that. "Everything all right?" I ask. "Not in the least. I've not had a moment's rest. If I am not needed to investigate a crime scene, then I'm being called to the offices of my superiors. I have seen my commander more times in the last 8 hours than I had the month before." It seems a terrible burden, I agree. "Worse, the reporters. Whoever thought that men should be able to ask the police questions incessantly should be hanged. I can't agree with that. I may make my dime in Egypt, but I'm still a Yank. Have you eaten? I ask Sam. He shakes his head. When the waiter arrives back at our table, I whisper for him to bring a bowl of koshery and some water. Sam is still venting. And Greco! The man's a good officer, but in this matter, he has been positively insufferable. We need a quick turnover in cases and the handling of situations, not his meticulous and nearly paranoid methods. I finish my coffee and pretend to go back to reading the newspaper. Jordan, as you can see, I am overburdened. Terrible thing. And I was wondering if you could look into something for me. I glance up from the article. I realize that is a lot to ask right now. I'll say, look at this room, Sam. If it's this busy this morning, imagine what it's going to be like later tonight. Sam looks flustered. It's important to me, Rocky. Sam doesn't normally use my given name. What's got him so wound up? I fold the paper and put it down. Tell me about it. Sam begins. I can't recall if you've ever met my younger brother, Nabil. I shake my head. Sam continues. He chose to remain with our parents and care for them and the family business when I entered the police force. Last night he was assaulted and is recovering in the hospital. Assaulted by whom? I ask. I'm not sure. Is he awake? Yes, he has a broken arm and the doctors are observing him for a concussion. He tells me that he was attacked by two men as he was closing up the tea shop. Tea is the second most popular drink in Cairo. The Arabs have a tradition of using tea for socialization in the evening hours, as their religion prohibits them from imbibing alcohol, at least openly. Some don't even have storefronts, selling tea out of carts or in alleys. Without him, Heba will have to work the shop with their daughters. I worry that a shop run by women alone might invite more violence, Sam finishes. I take a moment to mull it over. I'd be just trying to dissuade any trouble. Or would I be trying to discover the source of the issue? How much legwork are we talking about here, Sam? I would not ask you to put yourself in any great danger, but if you could resolve the situation for me and my brother, I would be grateful. How grateful? I ask. Well, I could overlook the various illicit services you allow on these premises. You already do. Right now, Rocky, I look to the side. If you do this for me, I could be persuaded to be blind to almost any indiscretion. It's not a bad offer. Sam knows that sometimes, to make a buck, I allow things to take place in the tambourine that I'm not directly involved in. We got a poker game that meets in one of our back rooms, and sometimes I allow women to use the rooms I reserve for drunks, to entertain gentlemen who can be discreet. Okay. Where is this tea shop, and does Heba know to expect me? I ask Sam. She does not, but I've this letter you can give her to explain the situation. The shop is called Al-Rigi, and it sits at the edge of what you foreigners refer to as downtown Cairo. I blink. As I said, I don't expect you to place yourself in any great danger. Sure, Sam. I'll walk over after we're done here.